This episode of the D-Lew podcast is brought to you by Happy Wrap. You ever wanted to design your very own gift wrapping paper? Now is your chance to do so. Whether it's for the holiday season, weddings, anniversaries, birthdays, no matter what the occasion calls for, you can use Happy Wrap to wrap your gifts. As a matter of fact, you can even design notebooks, greeting cards, gift tags, and so much more. You can sign up today at happy.thedlewpodcast.com and use the promo code DLEW to get your 10% discount at checkout. Again, that's happy.thedlewpodcast.com and use promo code DLEW to get your 10% discount at checkout. By Simpler Hair Color. Hey guys, are you tired of using that drugstore hair dye brand that isn't getting the job done? If you want to use a great product to cover those grays, have no fear, Simpler Hair Color is here. No mixing, no dripping, no mess. It's super easy to use, whether you're a beginner or a pro. Go to simpler.thedlewpodcast.com and use promo code DLEW10 for your 10% discount at checkout. Again, that's simpler.thedlewpodcast.com and use my promo code DLEW10 for your 10% discount at checkout. And by WWE Shop with Fanatics. Get your favorite WWE Superstars merchandise and wear them proud with superstars like the OTC Roman Reigns, Rhea Ripley, the Second City Saint CM Punk, John Cena, Main Event Jey Uso, the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, and so many more. Oh, by the way, they got some really cool championship belts in there as well. So go to wrestling.thedlewpodcast.com. Again, that's wrestling.thedlewpodcast.com so you can go to WWE Shop with Fanatics. This podcast is a Believe Network and Siete production. Well, ladies and gentlemen, back with us as usual, gracing us with her presence, the matriarch of the D-Lew podcast when it comes to the world of professional wrestling, the one and only Gabi. Gabi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. We're recording on a Monday night. We're just going to get this, all taken care of because, there is the holidays next week.
Hmm.
So this is technically, the last, live episode of the D-Lew podcast, for the year. Obviously, we're going to do a best of episode next week so you guys can kind of get the idea of, what we're all about if it'll be your first time listening. But, we're going to get right into it, man. This past Saturday night was the return of the iconic Saturday night's main event. My goodness, my goodness. When I tell you that the little kid in me was out there for the entire 2 hours. I'm serious. So before I give my shenanigans and my thoughts of it, I want to talk, I want you to, express what you thought about the presentation, the hype leading up to Saturday night's main event.
So the nostalgia was on 100. Like everything from like the long sleeve ref shirts with the bow ties, the logo, the entrance wrap. Like the nostalgia was just like so perfect. Like it took me all the way back to like that time. It is such a good job. Like no detail was missed. I love that. I love that part of it.
I mean, for me, hearing the Jim Johnston, da, da, da,
Hmm.
as they were panning through New York City when it opened up, and then it went to the Nassau Coliseum, and then of course they do the modern graphics with today's wrestlers with
Hmm.
Obsession by Animotion, and I'm just like, oh my god! And when they announced Saturday night's main event was coming back, and I put out on Twitter, I said, guys, I said, WWE, Triple H, I hope, and I'm just paraphrasing, I don't have my X account up right now. And by the way, FX, we'll talk about that later. But I just said, I hope that at the last shot we see before it goes to the crowd, that they have Cody Rhodes posing with the belt with the Saturday Night's Main Event logo next to it in like an orange background. How they did with the Red and Yellow Man, how they did
Hmm.
with the Macho Man, how they did it with the Ultimate Warrior and that type of thing.
Hmm.
Because whoever was the WWF WWE champion, you got that graphic. And lo and behold, they did it. And I was like, so excited, man. I'm getting I'm getting goosebumps even just thinking about it. And that pyro was excellent. They had the old block WWF logo, but of course
Mm-hmm.
they couldn't have the F, of
Just
course,
a W.
just the W. And they had the old entranceway from like 1991, 1992 with like the
Mm-hmm.
lines going down and stuff like that at the aisle. There was no Titantron. There
Yep.
was nothing. It was, and the aisle was narrow how it used to be. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And they had security walking behind each wrestler. And Joe Territor, and he had kind of had the Mean Gene spot. He said the red bow tie was for Mean Gene, and big up to the late great Mean Gene Okerlund, because Mean Gene was a staple on Saturday Night's Main Event.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they bring out the man that always tells it like it is, Jesse the Body Ventura.
He
And
did such a good job. Oh my
he
gosh.
is, it's one of those things where Jesse can accomplish. And by the way, Jesse has accomplished more things than I will probably ever do in my whole life. This man was a governor of the state of Minnesota, and that's a huge honor. But
Mm-hmm.
to his core, he is a professional wrestler, and he came out there and he's a heel.
Oh, he
He
healed it up
likes the
too.
heels,
Mm-hmm.
and whether you like it or not, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
He made fun of Dusty, he made fun of Cody, and I'm just like, okay, we're getting old school Jesse Ventura,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden, the announce team comes out. It was incredible, man. More, you give us more of what you got.
I think that he was very true to himself. He stayed that way the entire time he was on
Hmm.
commentary. Like he was just, it reminded me how much I miss having like that heel commentator in the booth. And like
Hmm.
we need to see more of him. Like I get he's older, he's a busy man, he has things to do, but like if they could bring him back for like maybe the big four, I don't know, but like I need more of him in my life. Like I just miss that heel in the commentary, you know what I mean?
It
Like
makes it get it because whether you like it or not, and it was I loved even as a kid. He may have been siding with the bad guys and stuff like that, the
hmm
heels, but I love the commentary.
hmm
You know what I mean? And he just gets it. But I will say this: they're gonna do they're gonna do 4 Saturday Night's Main Events per year,
hmm
and Jesse will be a part of all of them.
I'm here for it.
And I will only imagine that they're going to be bringing him in for like WrestleMania and stuff like that, because I can't imagine not having Jesse the Body at WrestleMania. You know what I'm
When
saying?
he's available.
I think so, but also too, you got to think in terms of like fans like me, you that grew up with Jesse,
hmm
that wants to probably meet him at a meet and greet.
Absolutely.
They're probably
If we
gonna,
can get Jimmy Hart, we can get Jesse the Body.
yeah. And I mean, they should. Speaking of Jimmy Hart, he was in the crowd. Greg the Hammer Valentine,
hmm
Coco Beware,
Who looks
Tito
good, by the way.
Santana. Oh my God. Like Tito looked great.
hmm
Tito, what I admire about Tito, and he's a Spanish teacher in New Jersey in Morris County. And I can remember Shawn Michaels, because Shawn Michaels was the one that put him in the WWE Hall of Fame in
hmm
2004. And Shawn was saying something about how when him and Kevin Nash and the Click were on the road, they always used to say, I want the Tito thing. And there was like the Tito thing was wife, kids, has a home life away from wrestling,
hmm
didn't allow rest. You know what I mean? He wasn't
Separate the two.
absolutely. And you could just like Tito was not a problematic dude. He aged very, very well. So it was so cool. But to see the Birdman Coco Beware,
He
man,
looks
that is,
good.
let me tell you something, man. All I wanted was him to have Frankie. That's all I wanted was to have Frankie, man.
Good old
Because you can't
Frankie.
have you can't have Coco Beware without Frankie. You can't have it.
Absolutely.
But it was so cool to see heroes that we watched growing up during
hmm
that time, during that era. But of course there were some matches. Obviously there were some matches, and the opening match was Drew McIntyre taking on Sami Zayn. And by the way, it was 5 matches on the card. There was a
hmm
on the live feed. There was a dark match, what I didn't even know about until
hmm
about an hour ago.
Motor
It
City
was the
Machine Guns.
Motor City
hmm
Machine Guns against A-Town Down Under, and it was 8 minutes. And of course, the Motor City Machine Guns did win the
Hmm.
match. And of course, I think it was nice to get the crowd, hyped up and things of that nature. But the Drew McIntyre Sami Zayn match was incredible. I mean, it was for the 10 minutes and 5 seconds that the match was, they were able to cram in as much stuff as they could. I mean, this was a glorified Raw SmackDown Super Show in a way because of the hype, the crowd, everything. It was the right crowd. You're in Long Island. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? At the world famous Nassau Coliseum. But Sami Zayn, that bringing out the Blue Thunder Bomb and all these things. I think Drew McIntyre tried to hit him with the Claymore, but Sammy hit him with his own big boot. What did you think of the match?
Um, it was okay. I just think that it, it it was very much like a glorified house show, like you expect to
Hmm.
see like all of the exaggerated wrestling, all of the things that you would get from a house show.
Right,
I don't
right.
think anyone thought that Sammy was going over.
No, and I think also too, I think this is going to be leading to bigger things down the road
Oh no,
because
he definitely made that comment about one
yeah,
down, like for
hmm
sure. It definitely extended the storyline here, we'll say. But yeah, it
absolutely,
was okay.
yeah. But Drew did win with the his infamous Claymore and got the pin 1, 2, 3, and the next match was of course Liv Morgan defending the Women's World Championship against Io Sky. Let me tell you, seeing Io Sky's entrance on network television, I don't know what it is, the music, the lighting, her presentation, and I use that word
She's a star.
presentation a lot because it's so important, but man, she looks like a bona fide star.
She's a
She
star.
really, really does. And of course, she comes out with damage control, but damage control say, "Hey, you got this. Go on your own." Then, of
Hmm.
course, Liv comes out with Dirty Dom and Raquel, and they both told her, "Okay, you go on." So like you said, the matches was I what I expected, but I didn't expect Liv to win as clean as she did. I was just like,
So that actually was the highlight of this match for me because like I've been screaming for months that like Liv can go, but they never let her like actually go. They always
right,
make her like
right,
heel and make her do like heelish things, but she actually can
right.
wrestle. So I was actually glad for once that she went over clean, even though I wanted Io to win. I'm glad that she went over clean, and I'm glad at the end the stare down, she didn't run this time.
That's right. That was great because that could be potential January 6th we're looking at for Raw.
Is it really January 6th? Of course it's January. It is January 6th. That's funny.
So
Um,
yeah, it's weird because whenever I hear that date, I don't think
your
about
mind
Monday
goes
Night
something else.
Raw. My
Yeah.
mind goes elsewhere.
Well, we're
I
not here for that.
We're
But
not.
yes, my mind my mind went somewhere else as well. Bringing it back in though.
Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Nonetheless, the Monday Night Raw, the first one is going to be on Netflix. How about that? We
There we
we
go.
we'll phrase it that way. But I believe because you figured they already got an action packed card with just two matches. You got the Tribal Combat match with Solo and Roman, and
Hmm.
of course you got Seth Rollins and CM Punk.
Hmm.
So I would imagine that Rhea and Liv are going to have their encounter on that Netflix Raw. So tying a bow on that one, like I said, Liv did win, to retain the championship. The next match, of course, you had Gunther defending the World Heavyweight Championship in a triple threat match against Finn Balor and Damian Priest. And on a personal note, I'm glad Damian Priest is getting to experience all these cool things, man. Like I said, I don't know him that well. I only met him once, at where I do my ring announcing and that type of thing. But just being able to see him flourish and how he's doing with WWE, and he's out on Long Island, not too far from where he's from, and it was great. It was really really cool, and they had 11 minutes 5 seconds, and there was what you would see in a triple threat match. But man, for a second, I actually thought Finn was gonna win this thing.
I actually wanted Finn to win. So here's my thing, right? So like I assumed, I obviously I was wrong. that there would be at least one title change the way they were hyping this up.
I did
And I
too.
thought that this would be the title change
Hmm.
where people wouldn't riot. And I wanted to see Finn
Hmm.
because believably, who can beat Gunther? No one. However, in a triple threat match, you could have Damien take out Gunther, make him weaker, and then come in and steal a pin, all of the things. And
Right.
I just want Finn to do something, right? I
Right.
think it's Finn's time, but this would have been the match that I would like to have seen like a belt change hands, and I would have liked to see Finn get it. Obviously didn't happen, but I think that going into this, I wanted at least one title change, and this would have been my title change that I would have been okay with.
Yeah, I would have been okay with it too, but I think also, on the flip side, it's like Gunther is just really cementing his legacy right now. And like I said last show, I'm on board now. I'm on board, and I'm just like, dang, like this
So, what are
guy
your
is.
thoughts on Gunther's reign, though? Because I just feel like it's very lackluster. Like, if you compare his reign to Cody's, it's just not even close.
Well, I think it's because he's a heel. Number one, he's not a heel that you're going to be wearing his T-shirt. Number one, because if you ever notice, Gunther doesn't wear merch. He doesn't
Yeah.
have merch. I don't think. If you see Gunther, he's in a black suit. He's well dressed. He dresses the part of a true heel champion. So I think in comparing the two world title reigns, it's a little bit different. Like for example, if we go back to the so-called Reign of Terror, right, in 2002 to 2005 with Hunter.
Gunther does not have merch.
He doesn't, and that's probably
It's
by
oh, there's
design,
merch here. It's older merch. Refer
right?
to him as the ring. I'm sorry, I had to go look because I was like, wait,
Yeah,
I never noticed that.
yeah,
It has like the ring general stuff. Like it's not anything. I never even noticed that.
yeah.
I see
That
you.
because that's and the thing is like back in the old days, heels didn't really sell merch, but what they would get is they would get probably a bigger higher side a higher side guarantee. I mean on the
Mm-hmm.
low side guarantee, I guess, because of the lack of merch.
Mm.
Because when you're a heel, of course, you don't want fans buying your stuff. I think nowadays with independent wrestling is a little bit different because that's the bread and butter how these guys make money, how they
Mm-hmm.
survive. But as far as TV wrestling, and I guess it is different depending upon what type of heel you are or who you are.
Mm-hmm.
But Gunther doesn't have merch, so I think because he's not flashy, you're not seeing people with t-shirts in the crowd. He's just there to wrestle, kick somebody's ass, and leave. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I like, and again, the fact that it is a contrast of a different type of champion, I can respect it. He's
Okay.
not clamoring for the people
Yeah.
to cheer for me, even though that I hate your stinking guts.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we're gonna see what's next. We'll see what's next for Gunther. But like I said, he did win. With the power bomb to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. Next match was the final round to crown the very first women's United States champion as Michin took on Chelsea Green. Let me just say, I love the fact that number one, they were in her husband's backyard in Long Island,
Mm-hmm.
New York. She did the Zack Ryder tribute,
She
where she
did.
had the with the
The
one
Rough
leg.
Rider.
Uh huh.
Mm-hmm.
No, but talking about even with her
Mm-hmm.
tights. She did the Rough Rider. You know what I mean? The match was awesome. I mean, for they had 8 minutes 5 seconds. It's TV. We get it,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's TV wrestling. Those matches aren't. It's like a boom, 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 boom. All right, next. But they had a damn good match.
They sure
Told a great
did.
story, and Chelsea beats her with the unprettier to become the brand new women's United States champion. Did you see her new shirt, by the way?
Yes.
I mean, listen, I love over the top characters. I really, really do. And I will always have a soft spot for Chelsea Green because she, to me, is the epitome of making something like really small and to making it even bigger.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like about her. Your thoughts?
I love the match. I think that Michin really never looked weak, right? Because
No,
this match could have gone like
either
so many
way.
different ways, right?
Yeah.
I love the match. This is a match where like while I wanted Michin to win,
Hmm.
I'm not mad
I'm
that
not even. No,
Chelsea,
no.
you know what I mean? Like it's one of those matches where it's like I'm happy either way, truly, sincerely. So like I loved it.
Like the shirt is like red, white, and blue. It has Chelsea, Chelsea, Chelsea going down, and it has a Statue of Liberty, but it's Chelsea on there. Incredible, incredible marketing. Unbelievable.
And it's funny because she's Canadian.
I know, and that's the beautiful part about it. What will draw heat? What will draw some major heat if she turns that Women's United States Championship into the Canadian Championship?
Hmm.
The hell with you Americans. That right there. Now you got somebody chasing her,
Hmm.
whoever that might be. It can be Bailey. It can be anybody else on that roster now that could chase
Hmm.
after the title. No, that's the United States Championship. Damn it! How dare you?
They won't because that's what AEW did. But yeah, I feel you.
But but WCW did that with Lance Storm.
Yeah,
We
but AEW
Canadianized all the
literally just did that spot. So like I see
yeah,
what you're saying. I'm not fighting you on it. I'm just
yeah,
saying
yeah.
that
No, no, I
because it
get
was
it.
so recent.
Right. Oh, with MJF.
Hmm.
Got it. I remember that. Yeah, yeah. That didn't last long either.
It didn't.
Nah, no, sorry. Ugh. All right. Well, the main event, and this was man, this. Whew, I just damn, I can't even talk right now. First of all, they have Jesse Ventura on commentary for this main event for Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens for the undisputed WWE Championship. Now, there have been rumors based off of a video we saw last week where Triple H had a surprise for Cody. And he said, "Hey, for one night only." And he opened up this box, and it was all gold. Now, somebody thought it was he was going to come out as Stardust. I thought that would have been freaking hilarious. Number
Okay,
one,
now to be fair, like
yeah, that would have been hilarious. But there was the rumor that, of course, he was going to wear the winged eagle version of the WWE Championship that has not been seen on television since, let me see, that was March 30th, 1998. That was the day after Monday Night Raw, the day after WrestleMania 14 on Monday Night Raw, where Stone Cold Steve Austin was given the big eagle and he handed over well, actually, he dropped the winged eagle belt on VKM's toe.
mhm.
And he sold it like $1 million. But that was the last time that the title was ever seen. Well, no, 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 no. I'm sorry. I think it was another situation where I think where Kane and Undertaker were in the ring and they had it out there for some reason. I don't know. I think that's when it been. I'm sorry, but 1998 was nonetheless was the last time it was seen. If somebody fact checks me and if I'm wrong, sorry about that.
Put it in
But
the comments. We'll send you a
put in
t-shirt.
the yeah, exactly. So of course Kevin Owens comes out there. You know he's sitting in the corner, and of course Cody Rhodes is his music comes on, his graphic is on the thing, and when he did the first whoa, and he opened his jacket, and I'm like, I don't see a W, I don't see a W, and they did a pan up to the oh my god, the winged eagle championship belt that he was wearing. If there was ever somebody that truly looked the part wearing that belt, it was Cody Garrett Runnels, aka Cody Rhodes. I'm serious.
Before we even continue on this, I need wrestling fans to come close. Come a little close. Why would y'all think they would have the OG belt that has WF on it? The way trademarks are set up, that was never going to happen. Like y'all were upset that it was a replica belt. Yes. Yes, it is. Didn't take away from the moment, but I need y'all to like just really like think. They can't legally put that belt out there, much less on NBC. Now, if it was behind a paywall, but it wasn't. All right, my rant is in. Thank you.
Yeah, people were complaining that we want the WWF.
I bet you do. I bet same, but you
Listen,
can't have it
man.
anymore.
Well, here's the thing. I was hoping that Lillian Garcia would have introduced Cody Rhodes as the undisputed World Wrestling Federation champion, I would have lost my fucking mind. Excuse my
Yeah.
language. But I don't know, what it is. But Cody, I mean, the belt looked freaking great on him. You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of the time, and again, I didn't see this until maybe a few years ago. Back in 1994, there was
Hmm.
a rumor on the dirt sheets that Lex Luger was going to win the title at WrestleMania 10
Hmm.
because they brought him out on a Superstars of Wrestling taping right before WrestleMania 10 and announced him as the World Wrestling Federation champion. And he came out there with the belt.
Hmm.
And you know what I mean? And go on YouTube. You'll see it.
Hmm.
And I didn't see it till a few years ago. And I'm saying, first of all, it's surreal because he was never the champion. But I'm saying that belt looked freaking awesome on him.
Hmm.
Just the way that the design was made. And I remember when the belt debuted, the red and yellow man debuted the title on the very first the main event that took place on February 5th, 1988, when they did the twin referee deal
Hmm.
and Andre had won the title. That was the first time that the Winged Eagle belt was ever seen. Because on the pre-tape, he had the title that before that.
Hmm.
So when he came out with a different belt, I'm like, what's that? And then of course, Andre had it for like a day or two or whatever because he sold it to Ted DiBiase. Well, he gave it to Ted DiBiase. They marked the title vacant. Macho wins the tournament, and Macho was the first champion to truly wear the Winged Eagle title.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And I did a stat, and there are 14 men that were the WWE champion wearing the Winged Eagle title. 14. I did the stat today. Unbelievable. So from 1988 to 1998, 14 people had the honor and privilege of wearing that title. Unreal. But let's get to the match. I know we talked your heads off about a title that hadn't been seen in years, but damn it, the belt looked freaking cool. Sorry, it's one of the coolest. And shout out to Reggie Parks for making one of the best belt designs ever. And again, not there's never ever a bad match with Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes.
Hmm.
Obviously, Kevin was more of the aggressor. Now that he's truly a heel, and that one move that he does off the top rope when he has you up and he's oh my god, I forgot the name of it, but whew, unbelievable. And I was telling my nephew this yesterday how Cody is truly one of the most athletic wrestlers on that roster.
Hmm.
Like he walks up those ropes and does that super cutter like a cat. That Cody
Yes.
cutter.
So
My
smooth.
God. What are your thoughts on the overall match? The entrance and all that stuff, the belt, everything. What were your thoughts on it? Because I know I talked your head off, but what did you think about it?
So it's a good match. I wanted K. I think that KO is going to be the one to take it off of Cody. I don't think it's going to be obviously right now,
Right.
because whoever takes the belt off of Cody has to take a lot of heat, and we all know KO can do it. So while I, in my mind, wanted KO to win, I knew he wasn't going to. Not right now. Um, Overall, good match. It progressed our storyline. Not much more I can say about the match.
Yeah, I mean, even the finish with Charles Robinson was outside the ring counting three.
Counting. Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay. And it's crazy. Side note, my sister sends me a instant message and she takes a picture of a television and she's watching Saturday Night's Main Event. My sister only put up with wrestling because of me.
Mm-hmm.
She's 5 years older than me. And she's like, "Are you there?" I said, "No," because I had a booking Saturday night. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't go. And I was just like, "You like it, huh?" She was like, "Yeah." She was like, I'm talking about the nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing she said to me, she was like, "That's Dusty Rhodes' son." I said, "Mm-hmm." My sister, who hasn't watched wrestling consistently in probably 20 some years, still knows who the American Dream Dusty Rhodes is. That
Mm-hmm.
lets you know the power of the American Dream. Seriously. I just wanted to get that out there because that touched me. The fact that because I even said that's Goldust's little brother. She was like, "Oh my God, she remembered Goldust."
Mm-hmm.
So that really goes to show you. But man, Cody does win, holds up the Winged Eagle belt high, but after the match, he gets attacked by Kevin Owens, and Kevin does the package pile driver on Cody Rhodes. And there was a report that all types of injuries and everything, and I love it because now you're making a move that much more powerful by putting it over like that.
So here's my take on that, right? I think that it's a slight shot at AEW because they do that move and like these finishers, everyone kicks out of, right? I think that they're kind of like trying to protect that move again, where it's like this is a lethal move. We should not be using it on like every single day on like a random
Agreed.
rampage.
Right.
I think they're like bringing back the prestige of this move. So I think it's a slight at AEW.
Could be. It could be. But once, they get him separated and Kevin Owens is walking it back because he took the title. He took it.
Mm-hmm.
And you see Triple H come out and they got into a shouting match, shoving match. I'm like, oh boy, where is this going?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that was a social media exclusive. So to kind of tie a bow on Saturday night's main event, where do you think all of this now leads? With all the matches that ended, all the matches that took place, where do you think this now leads going forward?
I think that this will set you up for the Netflix deal because let's be honest, everyone has Netflix. So I think that they kind of just kind of teased us to get us kind of like in the mood for Netflix.
Yeah, I mean, this was a genius move by WWE because I mean, first of all, going to Netflix,
Hmm.
huge, and they're going to be migrating premium live events slowly but surely, as because I think the Peacock deal I think runs out in another year or two, I think.
Hmm.
So they're going to be slowly, moving premium live events to Netflix. They're going to be taking down the old library and they're going to be putting on that WWE Vault YouTube
Hmm.
channel because you figure they can monetize the hell out of that.
Yeah.
Think about all those WCW matches, all that library stuff. They can monetize it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So I'm hoping, I'm truly hoping that it could be a smooth transition to still give us some of that old footage that we want. Because I still like the WCW footage. I still like
Hmm.
the AWA footage. But I think, times are changing and, content is king. And I just think that this move to Netflix is going to be a game changer for all for
Agreed.
sure. Well, we tied a bow on Saturday night's main event, and we're going to get into our year-end awards. Last year, we obviously it was the first year back for the D-Lew podcasts, and at the time, I didn't know how hip deep I was going to get into pro wrestling because the initial thought was I was going to have mainly music and sometimes wrestling. But thanks to, my guy Cam Rogers over at Believe Network, when he saw what I did WrestleMania week in Los Angeles,
Hmm.
he was telling me, Derek, your wheelhouse is professional wrestling, whether you like it or not. And it's okay to be in that wheelhouse and take advantage. He's like, because we were talking about championship reigns and stuff, and I think within a minute, I spit off about 10 straight, like 10 champions in a row of who beat who, and he was
Hmm.
like, because he watches sometimes. He
Hmm.
said, Derek, you see what you just did? He said, I didn't ask you this. You gave that information to me.
Hmm.
He said, you know wrestling. He said, so why not talk do have your have it's okay. So I'll still have music, I'll still have active, but this is truly pro wrestling and it's okay. But I didn't think I was going to do a year end awards last year, but with Gabby being on the show, and I felt it was necessary to add some stuff to the show where people can say, okay, what are they thinking? Who are some of the people that they thought were killing it throughout the entire year? So this is going to be the second of many D-Lew podcast year end awards. So we thought, and mind you, Gabby's gonna have hers. I'm gonna have mine. So if we happen to pick two different wrestlers, that's okay. You know what I mean? But there was an instance last year where we actually picked the same wrestler, I think, for a few awards,
Yeah,
and
we
it's cool too.
matched. Hmm.
Yeah, we did. So, but again, we don't know what the other chose. We don't.
Mm-mm.
We don't know. We have no idea. So
Let's
I
find
want to
out.
start. We're gonna find out right now on the D-Lew podcast Year in Awards. All right. So the first award we're going to give out is the Breakout Star of 2024. Gabby, the floor is yours.
Kalani Jordan.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Kalani Jordan, I think that her winning the inaugural championship and she was able to defend it multiple times. She was able to learn and she was able to grow. I have to give it to Kalani Jordan.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Now mine is from a different company,
Okay.
and I remember where this individual, who is a woman, was on the Independence asking to get signed. She did get signed. She was also a sidekick of Timeless Tony Storm. She ends up beating her to become the AEW Women's World Champion. She is the one and only Mariah May, breakout star of 2024. And I look at it because of just what I was saying in my soliloquy. A little over a year or so ago, besides the hardcore fan, a lot of people didn't know who she was.
Hmm.
And she goes and wins the big belt
Hmm.
just like that. I can't, you know what I mean? And this is no disrespect because there was a lot of people because I was really thinking hard on this one. This was
Hmm.
probably one of the hardest ones because
Hmm.
there were so many. I mean, there's the Jada Parkers of the world that was on my list. Jada Parker was one. I mean, my God, Kyle Fletcher was another guy. You know what I mean? There were so many breakout stars this year that I had to really break it down and say, okay, but how did their career, how was it impacting their career? And I was like, damn, Mariah May became the world champion in under a year. It's crazy.
Hmm.
Crazy to think about. All right, what's next?
You have the most underrated wrestler of the year.
All right,
Who you got?
I have a guy that people try to make it cool to shit on him because he got let go from the WWE twice. He may have had a botch or whatever the case may be, but he wrestled one hell of a match the other night against Nick Nemeth. He did one hell of a moonsault off the second rope. Who's hotter? Not nada. Dollar AJ Francis.
Okay.
Because I truly believe that I shot him DM and I congratulated him on one hell of a match. And I just think that people just tend to just want to just clown him because of whatever it might be. They may not like him because of how he dresses, how he looks. But oh boy, that boy he can get in there and wrestle. And I hope and I'm glad he found a home in TNA. I'm glad that he found a place where he could hone his craft and get even better to what he is now. And I have a feeling that in 2025, you could I'll put it out there right now. AJ Francis is going to be the next TNA World Heavyweight Champion.
Okay. All right. I'm not mad
All
at
right,
it.
who you got?
So mine's a little controversial because Roxanne. I think she's highly underrated for what she is. I don't think she gets enough credit for her title run. I don't think she gets
Mm-hmm.
enough credit for her matches. So I have to go with Roxanne from NXT. I have to.
I can totally respect that. To me, like I thought, I mean, to me personally, like I thought she was ahead, further ahead. You know what I mean? Because I had her in the running for another award on here, but
Hmm.
I get what you're saying, but I truly believe that when she drops this NXT women's title to either,
Mm-hmm.
it could be Julia, it could be Stephanie Vaquer, one of them, whoever it might be, she's main roster
Oh yeah, she's
bound
done.
at some point. So
Yeah.
there's no doubt in my mind. All right. We got workhorse of the year. You go.
Kevin Owens.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Kevin Owens is my workhorse. He has just when has he like not been featured?
Right.
His cutting promos in the cars, like you can't deny that Kevin Owens has been working this year. Can't
Okay.
deny it.
All right.
Who you got? Who you got?
Mine. Mine. Okay. You
That's fair.
gotta give it to my man, main event, Jay Uso, the man that was once the right hand man of the tribal chief. He broke away. He had a match with his brother at WrestleMania. He goes on his own. He's one of the top sellers in merch.
Mm-hmm.
He won the Intercontinental Championship, a belt that his father held, a belt that his cousin, The Rock, held.
Mm-hmm.
So, and to see that he's no longer, oh, which twin is that?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows main event Jay Uso. When you got the little kids dressing up as main event Jay Uso, wearing the Yeet glasses, wearing the Yeet t-shirt, everyone yelling Yeet. Whenever you go to any wrestling event, I don't care where it is, people are yelling Yeet. I'm telling you, that's the way that that's my workhorse of 2024.
I
All
agree.
right. What's next? What we got?
Um, Match of the year.
Match of the year. Okay.
Who you got?
I happen to be there live for this one. And I'm looking at it pure wrestling. I went pure wrestling for this one, not so much
Okay.
of the sports entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to go with Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher from AEW Full Gear from a few weeks ago.
Okay.
The the links they went to in that match, and there's a thing about you don't have to go over, but you can get over.
Mm-hmm.
Will Ospreay didn't have to go over because he already is over.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Fletcher needed the rub more than Will Ospreay did,
Mm-hmm.
and Kyle Fletcher became a star in that match. They made each other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was truly, and like I said, I went the pure wrestling route this time around because it would have been easy to pick, a WWE match from WrestleMania. It could have been easy to pick a hell. I could have gone that route, but I think I wanted to go the pure wrestling route, and I went with Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay. Who did you got?
I have Drew and Punk Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, and that was actually that was number two on my
And that's
list
funny. I
actually.
thought that me and you were going to match on that one, but that's
Yeah,
I see and respect your decision. But I thought that me and you would
yeah,
match
I
there.
am Punk and Drew were my 1A, I guess if you want to say that,
Hmm.
because they beat the dog shit out of each other. But like I said, that was the only reason why I wanted to choose, was just mainly more of the pure wrestling of it. Now, granted, they got a little violent when Fletcher did the tombstone on the stairs, or I'm just
Hmm.
like, oh my god. But the in ring stuff was was impeccable. I mean, I didn't want to put anything above it, but and it's cool. Like, we're picking stuff from different companies, which I think is awesome. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
We're able to, and this is what this show is about. We're not about just one wrestling company. Me and her, me and Gabby, we watch everything.
Hmm.
We pay attention to the independents as well. So understand that when we give out these awards, we give it all these other companies love, man. That's what it's all about. Now, shocker of the year. Who you got?
I have the TNA NXT, and it actually being productive for TNA and not just leaning on NXT because we all know that TNA does these partnerships where they kind of honestly get screwed.
Mhm.
But TNA got some love on this one too. So I would say that was kind of my shocker of the year would be the TNA NXT mashup.
We're close on this one, and you know where I'm going with this.
Hmm.
Jordan Grace showing up at the Royal Rumble
Yep.
in the beginning. So if you want to say I guess we're on the same wavelength when it
Hmm.
comes to that, the TNA, WWE, NXT. But Jordan Gray showing up at the Royal Rumble as an entrant, that
Hmm.
really surprised me. I was actually at Legends in New York City, and Jobber Tears, they were promoting that party there, and I was there, and I was like, that was a surprise for everybody. Really surprised everybody. All right. I think we're gonna be on the same. I'm hoping we're gonna be on the same one with this one. What else we got with the feud of the year, right?
Yeah, who do you got?
I got the hater of the year, Drew
Yep.
McIntyre versus the straight edge superstar CM Punk.
Yep.
You know, um, I think a mishap of an injury. They were able. Think about this. They had a cross. They crossed paths in November in the hallway. I think
Hmm.
was it the Monday after Survivor Series,
Hmm.
right when Punk went over to Kofi Kingston. Jamaican be crazy. Him and Drew had a stare down. Then of course he gets injured in the Royal Rumble, and then Drew's talking about I prayed for this, and that's when it all started. So you're talking about Hell in a Cell was what, October 5th?
Hmm.
So you're talking about really from November to October. They had 11 months, which is unheard of in this era right now of feuds happening. But when you have two professionals putting whatever personal, whatever, again, I don't know what was personal, what wasn't, I don't care. But we
Hmm.
were entertained. We got mileage out of it. And there was a beginning, there was a middle, and there was a close.
Hmm.
And they all benefited from it. Your thoughts?
Absolutely. I think it was a great, and like I think we talked about this before on the show, they went months before they even touched. It was just verbal back and forth.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
just little things like that. Just perfect. It's just the perfect feud.
Yeah, man. And that's like I said, it really showed me that what another company is missing out on right now
Hmm.
because it is a travesty. Because I mean, I'm glad Punk is back in WWE. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad he's
Hmm.
back. But he's showing you what could have been. You can do business, even if you may not like the person or whatever the case may be. The money to be, and that's what the key part. They're making money.
Hmm.
That's the bottom line. All right, so we have tag team of the year. This was really hard because there was some tag teams that was kind of or whatever.
This was harder. I agree.
This was very hard, and I chose this tag team because of really the longevity of them having the tag team championships,
I think we're on the same page.
and that's the Young Bucks.
Oh, no, we're not on the same page. Whew,
Yeah,
baby.
I did pick
No.
the Young Bucks. I
Okay.
did. I picked the Young Bucks because of number one, what they were doing on screen with the whole EVP thing, and also who they put over, and that was Private Party. And I was really happy for those two guys that they were able to finally win the big one, and the Young Bucks were willing to put them over. So for that, that's why I gave the Young Bucks the D-Lew podcast tag team of the year. Who'd you choose?
Fraxium.
Say
I
again.
went in Fraxium. I went to NXT.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go to NXT for this one. I think the deadline match just sealed it for me.
Right.
They have been working all year. My problem with the tag teams division is that the same thing I always talk about the tag team division, right?
Right.
They're not booked properly. So like offhand, I couldn't think of anybody who's just been killing it all year long,
Nah.
consistently having good matches, just like all of the
Right.
things. But then I thought about, and I was thinking like, okay, well, who does NXT have? And I was like, got it, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, tag team wrestling has like, I don't want to say like it's not been good this year, like that's a stretch, but it has not been in the forefront of my mind this year. I'll say that.
No, it's like all. This is all companies. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like the Hardys just became was a TNA Tag Team Champions
Which
recently or
is
whatever.
mm, a decision. Yeah, and I love the Hardys. Don't get me wrong, but like I like the Hardys. Like I'm not knocking it. I like the Hardys,
I love the Hardys too. I
but
love the
like
Hardys too.
I
Absolutely.
just think that I don't know.
Nah, I
Decisions were made.
understand.
Decisions were made. I will leave it at that.
All right. Up next, we have the pay per view slash PLE of the year. Who'd you choose? What did
I
you
have
choose?
Mania Night 2.
Okay.
I have Mania Night 2. This is the night that we got So the problem is that I actually liked Mania Night 1 kind of, but like Mania Night 1 had more like mm, okay matches. I mean, I was entertained by the tag team match. I don't think it should have main evented. And it also had Jimmy versus Jay, and that match just did not really do too
Mm,
much for me. So I had to, and it took me a minute to figure out the PLE one because like I had to really think of like top to bottom what was a really good show. And I had to always, when in doubt, you look at your Mania cards. I looked at Mania Night 2
right.
and was like, okay, I'll go with this. But honestly, as far as like a true standout for me, nothing really stood out for me this year. Like nothing was just like top to bottom, like a great card. What was your pick? What was your pick?
Backlash France. And the true stars of that show was the crowd.
That's valid.
I mean, if the AJ Styles is in the ring being introduced and they're singing that song phenomenal, 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 la 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 la, and the camera is shaking. The shot of main event Jey Uso with those with the flash with the lights.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the noise decibel. I mean, they even had the how loud it was in that arena. The international PLEs as a whole put some American crowds to shame.
Agreed. I have to agree with you there.
And I had to give Leon France a lot of love, for making that event feel big. It felt like WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like WrestleMania. Well, that's for PLE pay-per-view of the year. Women's wrestler of the year. You go.
Roxanne. Roxanne again.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Roxanne put on some bangers with Julia. She put on a banger with Jordan Grace. I just I think it's always easy for you to go Rhea, Liv, Bianca. Like I just think
Mm-hmm.
those are easy ones. But if
Right,
you really want to look at like top to bottom who's had like some banger matches, I gotta go with
right.
Roxanne. I gotta go with Roxanne.
I went a different route this time, and I understand where you're going. I chose Liv Morgan for this reason. Her character work, number one, impeccable.
Hmm.
Number two, her ability to draw heat. Number three, she became the world champion in Saudi Arabia, and she was also the crown jewel champion as well.
Hmm.
That's a lot of accomplishments in under a year. So for me, considering, and we were talking about her earlier about Liv not having the time, you know what I mean, for the show what she can really do in that ring. The girl can work.
Hmm.
She can work.
I
But I'm
agree.
just looking at the overall body of work. Think about what she was able to do, storyline wise. She
Hmm.
told Rhea, I'm going to take everything away from you that you love.
Hmm.
And she did that. She took the Judgment Day from her. She took Dominic Mysterio away from her. And she made sure she took that title from her.
Hmm.
Trifecta. That's all I got to say about that. And of course, we have a men's wrestler of the year. I'll get the balls in your court. What do you got?
I gotta give it to Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre from top to bottom all year has been working. He has put on some amazing matches. Um, I think that he just has really shown the quality of overall wrestler he is. Like we all knew he could wrestle. We should know
Mm-hmm.
he can cut promos. Like I just really think this is his year. He shined this year because like every good face needs a good heel, and every good heel needs a damn good. You know what I mean? Like it just he got it in Punk, and I just I'm very impressed with him this year.
Well, for me, I went with the obvious. I did go with our WWE Undisputed Champion, Cody Rhodes. He won the Royal Rumble again. He did indeed finish his story at WrestleMania. And just all that he's been doing, so much not so much in the ring, but outside of the ring. of being able to do the John, as they like to say, the John Cena thing,
Mhm.
where he's doing a lot of the Make a Wish, where he's doing all these other things,
Mhm.
promoting the product, promoting the product, promoting the product, and really being the face of the company. I couldn't argue that. And I
That's
have to
for
look.
sure.
There was a lot. I think Drew was on the list too. Trust me, Drew was on the list. You know what I mean? As far as
Mhm.
Drew put in a lot of work this year, but
Mhm.
man, Cody, and think about this too. Like, if will we be? Did you ever think we would be ever having this conversation? 2009, 2010, 2012
Mhm.
about Cody Rhodes being the face of a company.
Mhm.
And that was one of the things I had to really look at because Drew's been there. Drew's
Mhm.
been there before. You know,
Mhm.
Drew's been there and he's been the guy. But for Cody's story, leaving for 6 years, coming back, and all that he went through with the torn pectoral and all these things to get to where he is now. And now it's like, dang, like this, one of the top merch sellers of the company. So
Mhm.
the guy is really doing some great things. So, like I said, and obviously the match, people are calling the title run, lackluster or whatever the case. But I think because there was a heel champion for almost 4 years, and Roman wasn't always there every week.
Mhm.
Cody's there every week.
Mhm.
So I think because people were so conditioned to a champion not being there all the time, is the old adage of how do I miss you when you never go away.
Mhm.
So like I said, there was no wrong answer in either my pick or especially with Gabby's pick. We're gonna have some graphics for you, before the end of the year as far as what those awards are. I'm gonna try my best to see if I can get some awards actually made and send them to these companies and see if they accept them or not. We'll see. But we really put some a lot of thought into these awards and appreciating the wrestlers that entertain us every single week, regardless of what company it is. But before we get out of here, where can the people find you on social media and where can they listen to your podcast?
All right, you guys can find me at Charm City Gabby with two eyes on all social media, and you can listen to our podcast every Monday, Lip Gloss and Ladders.
Lip Gloss and Ladders are doing amazing work. Herself and three other incredible women are talking about pro wrestling and putting their spin on things. So
Mhm.
if you guys haven't done so already, I urge you to subscribe to their show, to their podcast, follow them on social media, and you can get all the updates, from their show and all the what they're doing as well. So I think it's really important that we share, all that everyone's doing in the podcast space, the wrestling content creating space, because like I say, it's a space for everybody to
Mhm.
succeed, but we can't all succeed, but we can always do it by uplifting each other. That's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Gabby, this is the technically the last show of the year before we have to talk about Netflix in about another week or so. But
Mhm.
happy holidays to you and happy to the to the hubs and to the baby. And I hope that Santa Claus is gonna drop some gifts down the chimney and he can
Hopefully.
come out the mine and drop whatever it is he's gonna drop here. I don't know, but we'll see.
Happy holidays.
All right.